Yes. All right. Oh, how'd you get the 3 done? I didn't know you were 3 done. And no. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. That's one bad thing about listening to music while I'm streaming. I start singing the music. And I am not a talented singer. Alright, that'll work. Hi, have fun. Hello, can you hear me? Cool. Nope, I'm not Deson. I am Clossi. Have a good game. K-pop. I didn't listen to that much K-pop in Korea, actually. Ooh, he's gonna attack. Yeah, but it's not my baby, so. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Yeah, that's a little annoying when you would think that both players might be able to talk. Or they should have a feature where several teachers could talk at one time. So we could have a group lecture or something. That would be really cool. I just noticed my seat was like down low. Yeah, but then only you and me would be able to talk, and I want other people to be able to learn from this too, and be able to hear us. So that's the only bad thing. I know Skype has that kind of stuff, but what I mean is, how would the people on KGS be able to hear you and me? They would only be able to hear me. And hearing only half the conversation is kind of awkward. Hey, Dallin. I saw that you were 3'd on, Dallin. That was pretty cool. No? You're up to 3'd on now. I saw it. Oh, I see. So basically you're saying I'm a weak 4'd on. A strong 2K can beat a weak 4'd on. Because that makes sense. The 30 Qs are actually secretly like single-digit Qs, sandbagging. So that was likely because your rank's adjusting then. Because in the double, like when you first get on, it'll think you're stronger, and then it'll realize it made a mistake and slowly correct it. So likely your rank's still trying to fix itself. Because you're still a question mark, right? Let me see what your game history is. Games. Oh, you've played quite a few games. Why are you still? I guess you don't play that often, because it's still a question mark. Oh, you don't play rated games that often. That's why. 5 games a month. Okay, that's why right there. So you were 17Q. You lost to an 11Q. That's reasonable. You lost to a 16Q. Okay, that can happen. You lost to a question mark. That's guaranteed. 6Q. Yeah, you'll lose to 6Qs. And okay, so you lost to a 21Q, giving them 3 stones. Yeah, play humans. And so, if you don't mind, I'm going to be talking out loud for both players to try and give you advice on where to play. So, right now, at the start of each turn, you need to ask yourself, do I have any weak groups on the board? what weak groups do I have? And if you have weak groups, you need to defend them. And you defend them by expanding the space they're surrounding. That's the simplest way to think about it. Expand the space they have surrounded. Don't just extend them in one direction towards the wall. Expand the space they're surrounding. Now here, white's blocking you from expanding on the top, and you don't want to let white in, because you don't want to let white reduce your space. So you need to block white from coming in and reducing your space, because I've kind of already surrounded you in this corner. So the first question you ask yourself is, where am I weak? And then you need to do something about it. The second question is, where's my opponent weak? And then you need to attack them or take advantage of their weakness in some way. No, you should, because your corner's going to lose the space it's surrounding because white's peeping it, or threatening to come in. So you need to stop white from coming into that corner area you're trying to surround. But yeah, the first question, where am I weak? Second question, where's my opponent weak? And the third question is, where's the biggest move on the board to play? This move is completely fine for your level. This is good. Yeah. Putting a fence around your yard. Actually, that's similar to what I usually call it. I usually say fencing in land. Fencing in land to claim it as your own. And your stones are fence posts, and you're trying to surround your own land. Okay, so I'm going to go here. And so now you need to think, do I have any weak groups? Well, my corner's defended now, so the top right corner seems fine for now. Is there any other stones that you're worried about getting surrounded? At your level, the only way you can tell if something's weak or not is if it's getting surrounded and it doesn't have any space. No, the stones are not weak unless they're getting surrounded and they don't have space surrounded themselves. And we would call this eye space, or space to make two eyes. You know about eyes, right? Okay, for example, take control here. I would say that A and B are weak. I would expect you to be able to see at least that A is weak, because A has no space surrounded, and white is on both sides of A. So you need to save it. So you can either try and bring your stone down to the third line and surround some space on the side, or you can run away to the center. Normally with a 1-point jump is most common. B is weak because after you defend A, I'm going to pincer or attack from both sides here, and now you can see that the Q4 stone, or B, is getting a bit surrounded. However, if you decide to defend B, then I might try and turn around and attack A. So when you have two weaknesses, you have to decide which one you think is weaker and defend the weakest one first, and each turn the weakest stone will change. So we're going to resume play, and you can either defend A or B, but those are the two weak stones, and that is why. Because I can surround them. More air, more life. Q18, okay. Q18 for white or for black? I'm also streaming this, so I see like two chats. If you meant for black, P18 was better than P17, not Q18. But Q18 is also possible. If you mean Q18 for white, it would be a little strange because black plays P18 and cuts off the white stone. So I'm not sure where you mean Q18 at. Black before playing Q17. He didn't play Q17. P, yes, P18. P18 would have been better, a little bit better. No, I'm talking to the people on the stream. There's two chats going right now. Like, I stream on Twitch while I teach. So I can have two audiences watching the teaching games and lectures. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so here you ask yourself the questions again. 1, where am I weak? Well, Q4 is weak. Okay, then you don't need to move on to questions 2 and 3. You need to defend Q4. The way to defend is to try and surround your own space, try and get your own space surrounded, so that way you have eye space, or run away to the center and don't get surrounded. Those are the two most obvious and simplest ways to play, and Justin Bieber just came on. Hold on, I gotta change that. Alright. There we go. Sorry, I'm listening to music while playing, and I had to change that. Okay, so you come out. That is completely fine. However, your move is not completely fine. The idea of coming out with your stone at Q4 is good, but you see this, do you know the Knight's move shape? You know this shape is a Knight's move? It is important not to run away with the Knight's move because Knight's moves are cuttable. So for example, if I go here, how are you going to respond? Because now you're in a lot of trouble. Because I can cut through the knights and cut you into 2 groups instead of 1 group to make it more difficult for you to save yourself. Well, to teach a 20Q, you have to realize that you have to keep things as simple as possible because they don't see half of what you see. So you try to break the strategies and basic concepts down as much as possible to make sure they completely understand. Yeah, to make sure they completely understand the concepts. Reading comes with understanding what's going on. Because reading isn't just picturing the stones on the board, it's about realizing what the stones on the board are doing and how each move affects that. So if you don't understand how each move works, then how can you read? So rather than trying to advance your reading, you can do this by doing life and death problems for sure, and you'll understand some local variations. So let me tell you and explain a little bit about what they mean. Reading is understanding how local variations or variations work in a local area. Basics involves many things, many things. For example, reading, counting, finding the biggest move, seeing weak groups and non-weak groups, Joseki. It involves many things. So I think at your level, it's more important to do some simple problems that are your level to slowly learn how the variations work in local areas, but also to understand what the stones are doing, what's the idea behind each and every move, and that way you can understand how the moves are working together and how they move about the board. So for example, I said don't run with Knight's moves. Well, you understood that we're running away, but you played a Knight's move because you didn't understand which move runs away. Well, now you know Knight's moves aren't good for running away because they can get cut. And now you just learned a completely new strategy. Don't run with Knight's moves. Running with 1-point jumps and diagonals are much more solid. Okay, good. As long as you can learn 1 or 2 things for every game, then it's good enough. Because there's so many concepts to learn that just learning 1 or 2 for every game and playing a lot of games is the best way to improve. But as for improving your reading specifically, everyone will tell you do life and death problems. And I'm going to say the same thing. Do about 5 to 10 life and death problems a day. And then play games. And that'll improve your reading. And all you have to do is spend about 10 or 15 minutes on it. You don't have to even spend that much time on it. No, I'm not going to sing right now. I love to sing when I'm by myself, but I am a terrible singer. Joseki, it's important to understand simple Joseki, but it's more important to understand why they are played. Because there's so many reasons why certain Joseki are Joseki. So I know that you want to be able to understand how or why each move in the Joseki is played, but try to understand the goal of the Joseki. For example, one Joseki, like invading the 3-3 point and against the 4-4 point, the 3-3 invasion Joseki is meant to take away the local territory, but your opponent will get influence. That's the most basic example of what is the Joseki going to do. So understand what the Josekis do, and that way you can learn how to use them effectively. So Joseki, life and death, playing games, all important. And yeah, black and p4. Right now, what I would want you to think about as black is q4 is the important stone here, and you don't want it to die. So you need to expand the space it's surrounding to start making eye space, so that we have room to make eyes. So you need to find a move that doesn't get cut off, but also expands your eye space as much as possible. Cutting me off is a great way to counterattack, but I don't want you to worry about that right now. I want you to worry about q4. How do I save this stone? Counterattacking comes later. Right now, just understand how to defend this stone. That is a completely acceptable strategy. It defends the corner and makes you some eye space. I'm going to surround your corner and reduce your eye space as much as possible. Don't worry about knowing or understanding everything. It's more important to figure out what you need to do first and then find the move to do it. So in this situation, what do you think you need to do? Oh, okay. So you always want to go for the biggest move possible if you can. So consider R5 first because it's obviously more valuable if it works. However, the weakness to R5 is white can cut at R4, and this is where reading comes in. Does the cut at R4 work? If it does, then you can't play R5 and you have to play R4. However, if it doesn't work, if white cannot cut at R4, then of course R5 is better. And this is where you're going to have to trust your own local reading. Okay, so you thought the cut works for white? Then I'll block here. Okay. Block. The cut doesn't work, and the peep is fine. You just connect at Q3, and if white cuts then, you just no B to S5. And then the cutting stone's dead. Alright, so it looks like black has plenty of eye space to live. So I'm going to stop trying to kill it, because I don't think I can kill it anymore. Rather, I'm going to think, do I have any weak groups? Yeah, I have a couple, but it's 9 stones. I'm going to have weak groups everywhere. So, what weakness can I take advantage of as black? Because that's what I really need to be thinking about. And I'm going to go here. I'm leaving a lot of weakness behind. This is not good for white. But I don't need to play the best moves right now because I'm not trying to overpower you or anything. I'm just trying to place a bunch of moves and give you things to think about. Alright, so question 1 again. Are you weak anywhere? And if not, then go to question 2. Is white weak anywhere? And then try and take advantage of that weakness and gain profit. Okay, cool. I'm glad you like it. I could have sworn I told you guys the answer to that. Alright, so I'm going to say that this move is not the correct move, but I want to know why did you play it, and I'm going to show you the move that'll do your idea a little bit better. So what is the reason for J4? No, the cut doesn't work because I R3 or black R3, white S4, and then black blocks at S5. Aiko, what was your reasoning for playing this move? Because this move's a little bad. Because I have a stone at 05 and I was moving toward it. I don't understand how J4 moves towards 05. And additionally, so you played off of K4. So that means you were trying to defend K4. So you think K4 is weak. Is this the correct? So is that okay, so you think K4 is weak. It is weak because it doesn't have a base and white is playing on both sides of it. D4 is a little weak too, yeah. But you thought K4 is weaker, so that's fine. Up to this point, your thinking's correct. It's completely fine. In K4, you need to either surround some space or run away to the center or try and connect to a strong group. 05 is not a strong group because it's next to white stones. So, rather than this move, a jump to the center is better to run away, or make some eye space on the side. Like here, you bring it down to the third line and you're surrounding some space on the side. Normally, if you can't make a 2-space extension, which means like here, and in this case you can't because you don't want to touch single stones like that, it is better to jump. Jump is really simple, and 80 or 90% of the time, it's an acceptable move. So this move looks like you're trying to surround some space, but third line is the security line and fourth line is the line of development. Here it looks like you're trying to develop and also defend at the same time, but it's not really doing either or because it doesn't develop anything because you already had a stone on the fourth line. Third line's the line of security, so it's not really secure, and it's not really making a base because I can simply just go here. So this move isn't so good. Alright, so I'm just gonna take your base. And now you don't really have a base, so now it's up to you again what you want to do to defend your stones. Okay, that's basically the lines next to the edges. So let me take control again. So the first line is the line of dirt. It has no value. It doesn't surround any points. Actually, this is the losing line. I think the second line is the line of dirt. Basically, it's not a good line. The second line is really, really slow. It surrounds one point at a time, so it's not very efficient. Third line is very efficient for making territory, and it's also the line of security. Third line is very safe. Fourth line is the line of development and building. So the fourth line is great for building your territory up or developing an area. And then the fourth line wants to come back down to the third line to secure it. So third line wants to go up to the fourth line, and fourth line wants to come back down to the third line. Does that make sense? So when you're invading or trying to live, the third line's the line you want to get to, because the third line is great for security, and it's very easy to create I shape on the third line. Here, however, you don't want to go to the third line because you're not surrounding enough area. Remember, 2 space extensions on the side are great for surrounding area, but if you can't surround efficient area, normally jumping to the center is your best bet. So don't forget that. Okay, so you want to try counterattacking. This is a fine strategy when you're strong, and in this case you have 9 stones, so you're obviously going to be stronger than white. However, this will lead to a lot of complications. So in order to pull off a strategy like this, you have to know when you're strong enough to do this kind of counterattacking strategy. So on this board, it's fine and it's a good move. On even games, it might be a little bit dangerous. So you need to understand how this move works, or how this idea works, before you play a counterattack. So I would recommend you play the basic moves first before learning how to counterattack, because you have to learn how to defend first, and then you can learn how to counterattack. I will, however, mention that this move is better than any of the defending moves because it's a very powerful move, and it utilizes the handicap stones. Okay, if you're thinking surrounding white, surrounding is attacking. Alright, so I'm going to play here to try and defend my stones. Go to bed. Catch you later. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Yeah. So I touched a single stone, so I'm trying to gain strength. Sure. Okay, that's fine. And okay, cool. Thanks for that. I'll extend back so I can make my base on the side. See you. Okay, so you're trying to cut me off, so I have to stop you. Now remember the questions. Where am I weak? Where's my opponent weak? And where's the big move? Alright, that's good. You protected your cut, so that's a good move. So now I'm going to come through here and try and cut these two stones off. Okay, so now you're threatening to cut me off, so I have to connect. Now be careful. Your two stones are getting weak. However, you played h6, which actually forces me to attack your two stones even stronger. So now I'm getting a strong attack against your stones because your moves on the outside, like h6, are actually forcing me to attack you and surround you. Don't force your opponent to surround your stones. Okay, so you either can... Oh, let me give you time real quick. To protect weak stones, there's a few steps you can think about. One is make a base, which you can't do that here efficiently. The second is to run away to the center. Normally, you would run away to the center with a one-point jump, but white's on your head, so you can't do that here. Well, now you need to think, can I get out with any other move? And if you can't do that, then you need to start surrounding as much space as you can and make it as wide as possible, even if it's not efficient, because that means you're dying. And then you have to start making eyes. So here, we're actually still at step 2. You need to get out if you can. You can't one-point jump to the center, however, you can one-point jump to the right at M5. This will try and connect with O5 and also give you some moves to try and get out to the center later. You could also look at L6, however, when white cuts, the ladder is actually good for white. So L6 doesn't work because the cut works for white. That means you have to play a move like M5 to try and get out. So right now what you should be thinking about is, I'm weak, I need to escape. Yeah, M5's a good move. Okay? And now I'm going to play here. This move threatens to cut through your one-point jump. So you need to defend the cut because you don't want to get your weak stones cut off. And a good way to do that is M4, the bamboo joint. M4 is a really strong connection shape. Okay, so play M4, and then I'm going to show you why L5 is not a problem. M4, not L4. So, here. Now the reason this is fine is because this shape is a very solid shape. The reason it is a very solid connection is because if I play here, you connect here. If I play here, you connect here. This is a mi for connection, which means if I play one, you'll play the other. You have two ways to connect, and until I take them away, that means these stones are always connected because they have mi to connect. If white plays one, you'll play the other. So this means the bamboo joint is a very strong connection, and this shape's a lot better than just connecting an L5 because that's an empty triangle and we don't want to play that. Alright, so I need to just continue attacking you by surrounding. Yeah, it's a good shape. So I'm just going to continue surrounding, and you need to escape if you can. You can also think about connecting to strong groups if you can too. And strong groups are groups that are alive. So either run away, connect to strong groups, or make some eye space and start making eyes. But that's only after you got completely surrounded. Okay. So I'm going to try and cut you. Okay, you cut me, so I'll play an Atari. I'll connect. And what do you think you should do? Try to capture the cutting stones. The way to capture cutting stones, though, is to push them towards the edge, not play on the edge. So, the better way to capture cutting stones is to surround them and push them towards the edge like this. This way I have nowhere to go but towards the edge. That's how you capture stuff, is by pushing stuff towards the edge. Playing like this, now I'm going to run away this way, and now it becomes much harder to capture me. So you want to play this move. So now I'll play this move. What do you think you should do? The territory is not important if you're dying. You have to make sure to capture the cutting stones to connect your group. Yeah, don't lose focus of the fact that you're dying and try to save territory. And no, I don't think you can see the Twitch chat. Yeah, territory is not important when you're dying. So I'll try to stay connected. Let's see what happens. And here, reading's important. Try and read as much as you can, and the way to read this is to count the liberties. Make sure to count the liberties on all the stones and see what you can do. Uh-huh. And I'll connect. Uh-oh, you're an Atari. What do you think you should do? Oh, no! Count the liberties on all the stones. What do you think you should have played instead of there? I was trying to trick you when I said Atari. What should you have played? No, I was putting P1 into Atari, but I said it trying to trick you because I wanted you to think about it, but count the liberties on the white stones. How many liberties do I have? Alright, so I'm going to put your 2 stones into Atari. What should you play? The Twitch chat's going crazy. They're trying to tell you what to move to play. Count the liberties on all the stones and see what the best move to play is. That's fine. Take your time. Okay, so you saved your stones in an Atari, but you still didn't quite see the weakness that white has. So it's true, your 2 stones were in Atari, you needed to connect them. However, you could have captured me at M1. I only have 1 liberty left. Do you see that? M1. White has only 1 liberty left. Yeah, you could have captured me. Alright, so I'm going to save this, and I want you to... Yeah, it's okay, though. It takes practice. So I'm going to save myself, and I want you to still try to capture me. And how do you capture something? You push it towards the edge and try and take the liberties away. So try and capture my group. Okay, good. So I'm going to try and run away again. So I'm going to go here. Okay. And I'm going to try and connect out. There you go. You got it. And now you've captured the cutting stones and have connected all of your stones together. So I'm going to connect my weak groups together. And we can go for about 10 more minutes, but then I'm going to have to get off and start getting ready for bed. They're considered living if they're surrounding space and they're surrounding enough space to make 2 eyes. So your groups are most definitely alive because they have so much space to make 2 eyes. They could probably make like 5 or 6 eyes. Sure, no problem. Quapla. I don't know Quapla. Success! They're cheering you on Twitch. Okay, well, I can't stay in this area, so I need to get somewhere else. So let's go here. This seems like a fun move. Oh, the counterattack again. Well, then I'm going to attack you back. Make sure to remember that counterattack only works because you have handicap stones. In even games, it won't be such a good move, because you'll have to defend weakness before attacking. Okay, but then I'm going to attack your top stone. Now you're in trouble because you ignored it. Okay. I'll block you from coming in. Oh, you cut me. That's a good idea. Cut me off and try to make me weak, so that way you can defend yourself while I'm defending myself. But now you need to defend yourself and start surrounding space on the side, so that way you can make eyes. No, the top side. Your 2 stones on top are dying, because what's surrounding them. So it needs to surround space on the top side, so that way it can make eyes. It comes with practice. You have to just think about what is getting surrounded and what is dying, and then defend that. Okay, I'm going to try and keep you surrounded. So I'm going to defend my cut. Okay, I'm going to surround you. And now you have to make 2 eyes. It's a good way to make eyes is with tiger's mouths. You know that shape? The tiger's mouth? I don't know what the dog face is. But it involves 3 stones in a triangle-ish looking shape, and if I play in the middle of those 3 stones, you can capture me. Does that help you out any? Okay. Good. Good, good, good. And I'm gonna block you. So you need to live. Good. Another tiger's mouth. So I'm gonna block you on this side now. And now I'm going to Atari this side. Dog face. They posted a picture of a dog face. Okay, and now you're alive with 2 eyes. So good job, you lived. And now I'm just going to defend my cut. And we can go ahead and stop here because I need to get to. It's getting late here, so I'm going to get off and go to bed. Do you have any questions? But, dot, 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 but, I guess we can try. The games are automatically saved, and you can just send me a message later or something. But I normally only teach when I have free time and when I feel like it, aside from my lectures. And my lectures are maybe a little advanced for you, but you can feel free to come to them and watch them. The way to see when I'm online and when I'm teaching is to, in the top right, you'll see my name. Right-click my name and add me to the buddy list and fan list. And then the fan games tab in your KGS window will light up whenever I have a game open. Yeah, you can come watch any of my lectures. I'm just worried they may be a little bit advanced for you, but you can take from them what you can, and you can always ask questions, and that's perfectly fine. But I do weekly lectures, and you can come to those. And then if I put a teaching game offer up, feel free to challenge. And just add me to your fan list, and that way you can see when I'm doing stuff. And for those on Twitch, if you like what I'm doing, cool. Then please consider donating $1 a month at this website. It really helps support me as a teacher, and I'll type it in the Twitch chat. See www.patreon. Oh, that beeping is annoying. How do you donate? I will type it in the KGS chat in just a second. It's patreon.com/user ? equals 501774. And I'll type it in the KGS chat. It's http://www.patreon.com/user ? U equals 501774. Basically what this is you can pledge to give $1 every time I do a lecture, which is once a week. or you can set a max to $1 a month, and even $1 a month helps me out, because this is basically my income is from Teach and Go, from donations. So yeah, any donations that you guys are willing to donate would be greatly appreciated, and I'm really happy that you enjoyed it and it all made sense. One of my weaknesses is actually teaching things too advanced, and I'm working really hard to make sure that my students understand what I'm trying to teach them. So I'm really happy that you understood it and liked it. Cool, that's great, that's perfect. Alright, well, thanks for playing, and thanks to everyone for watching on the stream, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.